Hey guys, what's up? This is Ryan from Ethereal Metal Webzine, and I'm here today with Samy Elbanna of Finland's very own Law Society. Samy, thanks so much for being here today and taking the time. How are you doing, and how are your family and friends doing these past couple of years with everything having been so crazy with COVID?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. And honestly, the last couple of days have been pretty crazy because, as you probably know very well, the record is finally out.
Absolutely, man.
You know, we just got off a 5-week tour. We had a couple of days of rehearsals immediately when we got back to Finland, and now the record's out. So honestly, it's been pretty crazy. But I've been just absolutely speechless reading people's feedback, people's comments, and everything from all around the world. People really seem to have understood what we were trying to bring and what we're trying to bring with this record across the message and everything. So honestly, I'm feeling really good. And after the last couple of years of very weird times, I'm luckily still here, and my family is still here. My friends are still here. I get to tour the world again with my best friends in the world. So honestly,
awesome.
things could be much worse, I must say.
Law Society, now with 5 studio albums under your belt, has been with Nuclear Blast since you were 17. 3 albums with them. Then in 2020, No Absolution saw a stint where you were independent. What was that process like?
You know what? It was for me. It seemed like it was a very crucial period of time with the band, because I feel like after Brain Dead, we kind of consciously wanted to take a longer break between writing records, because as you know, probably from the first 2 records, we wrote them in a matter of 2 years.
Yeah.
Then there was a 2-year gap between Terror Hungry and Brain Dead. But after Brain Dead, I feel like since we had been touring so much, both in Finland and abroad, we wanted to take a little moment of time to just kind of breathe and think about what we wanted to do next. And we wrote probably about 60 or 70 songs within that period of time, from 2016 to 2019, when the record was written and recorded completely. And I feel like if we wouldn't have done that, the band would probably be in a very different place. And what I'm so grateful about is the fact that both Nuclear Blast and the band we really had a common understanding that this is just something that has to happen in order for the band to kind of truly find what we're all about. And the fact that we found each other after No Absolution once again with Nuclear Blast was just the best thing to happen, because I feel like the label and the band both understood that, okay, now the band is exactly where they're supposed to be, doing exactly what they're supposed to do, and truly listening to their hearts and just producing the best music that they have until now. So
that's
it's
awesome
to be back. It feels like we're back home.
Yeah, no, for sure. And in 2021, that's when they made the announcement that you were back with them. And they actually said some alliances are just meant to be. How did that feel to hear that from them?
Honestly, I think we felt the same way, both of us, like immediately, because it wasn't like, because, you know, a lot of people obviously, like every time a band parts ways with a record label, many people always kind of have that perception that there's been some drama in between or whatever.
Of course.
But for us, it was something that, you know, we were very happy that they understood exactly that this is something that needs to happen. And I feel like maybe both parties at that point in time already understood that, well, you know what, it could be that in a couple of years, the situation will be very different. So when they reached out to us after No Absolution had come out, you know, we talked obviously in between a lot, but they were just like, oh, this material is incredible. It seems like the band has grown into you know, the mature musicians that you are at this point. Yeah. So how about we try this again? And we were both like, yeah, definitely. And I think the main thing obviously is the fact that our cooperation has worked so seamlessly ever since.
For sure.
So it really does feel like it was the right move to part ways and now to be back finally.
That's awesome. started out with a thrash metal sound on your first album. Lost Society has seen an incredible evolution over the years, but never really drifting away from what your true identity is. Lost Society has seen a clear progression that, for me anyway, makes a lot of sense with your musical influences. What I've always loved about metal is when artists aren't afraid to step outside of that box. Sometimes there's guidelines or boxes to stay within, but I think it shows a true strength to break beyond that and to write what's on your heart. And I think that's exactly what Lost Society does, and I think you do it unabashedly. What does it mean to you and the band to have this freedom in writing and to still receive the reception that you've been receiving, all the while stepping outside of those boxes and raising the bar higher for others that feel that they can also do the same?
Well, you know what? First of all, I'm so glad that you understood exactly what this is all about, because I feel like you kind of put it into great words. And I feel like the magic and the key to all of that is the fact that we are so genuine with what we do and the music that we write. It's not like, because I feel like there's a lot of bands that easily could go like, oh, okay, there's a resurgence in new metal, or there's a resurgence in this style of metal. How about we try that so we get more popular? But
Sure.
That's, for us, this is just what we love. It's what we listen to. It's what influences us. And then it's just, the mixture of what we are as musicians, what we do together. So for me, that's the most important thing, because if a band just starts to write music to please a certain group of people, you can smell that bullshit from miles away.
100%.
It's not authentic.
I agree.
And it doesn't come from the heart. But when you truly believe in it, and it's what comes out of your soul and what you've written, with your blood, sweat, and tears, people really react well to that. And obviously, yeah. I'm so happy because to see that people love it, because obviously the main thing is always that we have to love what we do. But if even one person outside of that loves it, then we consider ourselves the luckiest people on earth.
Absolutely.
And for us, it's always been also about the fact that we've always loved all kinds of music. We've never been just the band that listens to one genre of music religiously. But the main idea is that bringing these elements from different styles never fit the kind of context of what we were doing at that period of time. But ever since Brain Dead, when we were already like, these songs have space to bring in these different kinds of cool things. So ever since then, we were like, why shouldn't we just bring in all of these as much as we want to? Because I never want to be the person who has to live their whole life doing something that they started when they were 17, and I have to just do that over and over
Continue
and over again.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm super happy about the fact that we were those people who took that risk, and we were like, we're not fucking doing that. We're gonna do whatever we want. And I feel like a band like Bring Me the Horizon in the nowadays, that's definitely a band that we look up to, because of that fact that they can just do whatever they want to, and it always still sounds like them, because they genuinely love to do stuff like that. It's not just pleasing a certain group of people. And
Exactly.
To all the people who expect us still to just go back to doing only thrash, it's like, that would be selling out if we were writing thrash just because you're expecting that, but not because we want to do it.
Not because you want.
So,
right. No, that's awesome. And like I said, I think the way that you guys do that, it's so genuine. And I think that's why people are starting to appreciate it more. So that's really cool.
Stitches, the lyrical content is, honestly, I love the lyrics on this one. We're entering the zone of self-awareness, and we're like, you know what, like the starting lyrics on the verse is, I need some medicine and I need it quick. Asymptomatic doesn't mean that I'm not sick, which just goes to show that you'll see about 100 people or hundreds of people every single day, and you're not going to have the faintest idea what those people are going through. It's going to be people with the biggest smiles on their faces who are going through the worst moments in their lives. And that is not to say that they are not sick in their own way.
This is like one of the last songs, like I said, that we wrote for the album, and I think that this part you were like the lyrical themes, they were already like much further than when we started, and I fucking love the riff.
This one is like a small bow to the, to the new metal era of the 2000s.
It's the first song that you don't have solo.
That is true. It's the first Lost Society song with no solo, but it has a little scratch solo.
We recorded a solo.
We recorded and we listened to it, and I mean technically it was a solo. It was everything that someone would expect from a solo. But this goes to show the thing that we've always said, a guitar solo, the main thing and the main purpose is that it has to serve the song, and it did not do that. So we were like, you know what? Throw that shit away. We're going to do something different. We had the whole Prodigy vibe going on with the guitar effect, and we had the scratches done by our dude, DJ Mr. S.
Yeah.
Fucking sick.
When I first heard the entire promo for If the Sky Came Down, there were so many emotions that came flooding. It's clear that this album was written from a really deep, dark, and really personal space. First, I have to say, man, the album is freaking great. Honestly, everything from the instrumentation, the arrangements, the writing, the hooks, the grooves, more of a melodic blend at times. It's honestly just a great album. So I really wanted to let you guys know that.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Yeah. So teaming up again with Jonas Porkunen as producer and co-writer, how was it working with him again? And how would you say that he helped to bring this album to life?
You know what? I can never thank Jonas enough for everything that we've accomplished together, because I feel like ever since, I believe it was 2018, which was the first year when we started writing songs together, because, you know, obviously I've known him since 2013 through his previous band and everything, but we started working together 2017, 2018. And it was just one of those moments from the first weekend we spent together at the studio where I felt like I found my counterpart. It's like we think of music at the same time, exactly the same way, but exactly in a different way. It's like he sees the things that I don't see, and I see the things that he doesn't see. And I feel like since we started working together, it's just been a match made in heaven. And you know, it was a very obvious choice for me that we would continue working together, and he felt the exact same way after No Absolution. And you know, honestly, because the point in my life that I found myself in when the kind of theme and the storyline for this record was born, I couldn't have done it without him. It's like I've told everyone that he literally, you know, he was holding my hand throughout the whole process. I told him that I need to do this record. This has to happen. And, you know, obviously he didn't know everything that was happening in the background, but he kind of knew that everything isn't okay. So I can never thank him enough. And I think that you know, this record would not be what it is without him. No doubt in my mind. So I think we accomplished something really beautiful together.
No, you really did. And I think you guys worked really, really, really well together. It was clear from the last album you worked together on, and this album even more so. So I think it's really awesome. So being a musician myself, music has always been a release for me. And also working in healthcare, I'm a huge advocate for mental health and for having open discussions and kind of breaking the stigma surrounding it. Music and mental health for me are massively intertwined. Having written music since you were around 15, was music always an outlet for you even before you were writing music from Lost Society? And how does it feel to know that music that you're writing, especially with this latest release and the space that it was written in, is going to reach so many people during a time when mental health is so incredibly important?
You know, honestly, going back to when I was 7 years old, when I heard Iron Maiden for the first time, that was the first point in my life where I realized that there is a great power in the world called music, because I was 7 years old, you know, just starting school, and I heard a song called The Prisoner through my big brother, and, you know, Bruce Dickinson screaming in the fucking chorus, "I'm not a number, I'm a free man." I was like, whoa, this is a bigger feeling than I can understand. It's a bigger emotion that I've ever felt before. And from that point, subconsciously, I felt like I want to do that someday. I want to write something that can create this kind of emotion in another person. And now, you know, 20 years after that moment, you know, 5 records out, and especially with this record, getting the comments that we've got from all around the world of people saying that something that I've written from a place of despair and trauma and sadness, the fact that has been able to give someone else strength to carry on is just mind-blowing. It gives it
Absolutely.
literally, it's kind of like a perfect circle in a way that even nowadays, obviously I've been seeing a therapist for the last 9 months and, going through a lot of stuff and slowly but surely kind of getting better. But, it's something that you'll never fully get better from. But the fact that even now, when I have those days when I'm like, oh my God, I can't fucking do this anymore. The fact that someone from somewhere in the world will tell me that something I wrote saved their life, that will make me feel, even if I hate myself, it makes me feel like, well, you know what? I can't be completely a shitty person because I've been able to do something that has helped someone else. And I
Absolutely.
feel like, I found a place to be in life also, in the way that I want to be that person who talks openly about this thing, about mental health, and about the fact that it's something that anyone can face, and it's something that anyone can be triumphant over.
Sure.
And I feel like it's my privilege, and it's also my kind of it's almost like I have to talk about it because I have a following. And I feel like if someone who has a following doesn't talk about things that actually matter, then the world is never going to go anywhere good.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Like a murder with no alibi, I'm guilty but I don't know why. When I feel no stress, I'm left with voices in my mind. Like a human being suffering, like a needle penetrating skin. Believe me when I say there's something wrong in my design.
And I have to say 112 is a powerful, powerful start to the album. And that's honestly one of the tracks that stuck out to me. It doubles not only as an album opener, but kind of as the beginning of a journey of someone accepting, hard things that are happening to them. It sees a song about that moment when you finally realize and you're able to admit to the world that you're not okay and that it's okay to not be okay. It's about that moment when you throw up your arms in acknowledgement and you let it all go to rebuild something new. The video that was done with Vita Pictura is absolutely great, man. And I really, it really effectively illustrates the emotions behind the song. During the writing process, you had some ideas, for videos in mind, but this really came to life. What is the significance of 112? And can you tell us a little bit more about the influence behind this video?
Absolutely. First of all, you fully nailed every single detail on this, because I feel the exact same way, in the sense that it's actually funny that the chorus for 112 was the first chorus I wrote for the whole record. And it was written before I even had this whole kind of idea of doing a record. It's something that had been out there. And from we wrote about 5 different versions because we always felt like the rest of the song wasn't as good as the chorus. But I said, even before we had a single riff on that song, that this is going to be the opener and this is going to be the first song that people have to hear of this record. The lyrics, they just poured out of me in one night. I remember that very, very lively. And yeah, the whole kind of project name for the album even was 112, and the whole significance of it is the fact that 112 is one of the 3 or 4, I believe, emergency numbers in the world. Obviously, it's for Finland and most of Europe. And for me, it was just something. It was exactly like you said. It's just the moment where you're like, you know what? I've pretended for 26 years, but I'm not okay. And that's fucking okay, because I can't keep going on like this.
100%.
And that also, like, writing the lyric for that song, it kind of freed me and it opened up the gates to write the whole record's lyrics, because I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go all out. And because literally the whole starting point for the record was the fact that this is going to be the last thing that people ever hear of Samy Elbanna. So I was like, you know what? I have nothing left to lose. It's like, because I feel like a human being at that point, when they fully decide that nothing matters anymore, that's when the first time they're literally going to be honest in their lives. It's like, it's the unadulterated, fully the truth. And I think there's something very kind of painfully beautiful about that.
Yeah, and the chorus, man, is really, really powerful too.
Thank you very much. I feel
Really
the same
powerful.
way. It's something that we talked and discussed it so many times with Jonas about the fact that it's like it's a powerful lyric. I'm carrying the weight of the world on my shoulder.
On my shoulder, right?
That's a big sentence, and there's a big significance behind it. And I'm very happy that people have understood that it's like because I feel like it's a cool thing when you're able to write a lyric that's personal, but it's universal in a way, because so many people feel
man.
these same feelings, and it's like, I want to give my story, but I want to give room for people to create their own story and adapt it to their own lives.
Exactly.
No sound of life, can you hear my heart beating? No sound of pulse, am I still breathing? Like a frequency, lost in a symphony. Can you hear me screaming? I may be powerless, but I'm
Awake is another track actually that really jumps out at me every time I hear it. First, the string arrangement on this track is absolutely incredible. It adds incredible layering to the track. The riffing is great, as are the vocal melodies. The guitar solo is probably one of my favorite on the album. The lyrics in this song really hit me on a personal level. What can you tell us about your personal influences behind this song?
First of all, thank you so much, and I feel the same way with the fact that I feel like it's somewhat of a turning point on this record lyrically, also because I feel like it's one of the first songs where I make it painfully obvious that it's also possible for the renewal of everything. And I feel like it's something that I wrote without even understanding it myself, because at the point when I wrote that lyric, I was still so down that I didn't think I was going to come back up. But the fact that, the lyric, I may be powerless, but I'm finally awake, it has a lot to do with also the cover art of the record, because, you have the figure who's falling down with their personal hell from the skies. You feel like you're spiraling, and usually you think that when you're spiraling, the only thing that's left is rock bottom. But in the end, you find that blue serenity, you find that rebirth, which is a new chance at life. And I feel like that song is it's fully resemblant of that fact, that when, no matter how low you are and no matter how you're drawing your last breath, that may be that point in the world or in your life where you find that new kind of sense of happiness and that new renewal of your own life.
Exactly, man. That's awesome. And I actually wanted to touch on the album cover in a second. So I'm really glad that you brought that up.
I'm suffocating. Is life worth saving when I use every single inch of me to end this fucking misery? The air is pure, but I'm suffocating.
The closing track, Suffocating, could not have been a better track to end the album with. And I'm not personally, I'm not ashamed to admit that this song completely tore me apart. I've lost 2 family members and a really good friend of mine to them taking their own lives. And I've always wondered what I could have done to help them, if I could have done anything differently. This song is so incredibly powerful because it comes across as a goodbye letter of sorts, but really to me, it's a story about strength and survival. I think this song is going to be a source of strength for countless people. What does this song mean to you personally, and will it ever be performed live?
I'll answer the last question immediately. Yes, definitely. And I'm really looking forward to doing it live, because I feel like when you bring a song like that into the live setting, it works more of, as what you said, it's more of the celebration of being on top of those feelings rather than feeling them again. And it's crazy because at the time of writing that was meant to be the last song I ever write. It was the last song written for the record, and that was supposed to be my farewell to everyone.
Right.
And the fact that, I can still be here one day after the release and, waiting for a tour, that I'm still here and I'm saying these words, it goes to show that it worked exactly as you said. It became that source of strength. And it's also, I think it's a constant reminder to everyone that that you know, everything can look fully okay, as the lyric says, the air is pure but I'm suffocating.
But I'm
It
suffocating.
means
Yeah.
that everything can be 100% okay. You can have that big smile, anyone can have that big smile, but you have no fucking clue what can be behind that. And I think there's something really beautiful about the fact that when we get to sing that together with, you know, one person or 500 people or 1,000 people, 10,000 people, it's like we're singing the same lyric, but there's going to be 10,000 different stories that people are singing with those words.
100%, man. Um, uh, like I said, that song meant a lot to me personally, and I think it's really going to help a lot of people as well. I got to quickly touch on the album cover, like you said a second ago. It's absolutely perfect. To me, it perfectly illustrates the feeling of falling through a void when it feels like there's nothing left, when life takes a toll on you, when life takes everything from you and drains you to absolutely nothing. I know that you said a little bit, but what was a little bit more detail about the inspiration behind the artwork?
Yeah, it was just 100%. Like, I made a raw kind of Photoshop sketch a long time ago, and to me, it was very important from the beginning that it has to have the orange and the blue. It's like, it's the, you know, because you touch on a very universal kind of theme, which is the whole yin and yang. You have the one door closing, another door opening, but in our story, in my story, and it's the you know, it's the figure, which obviously I want the figure to be a universal, just it can be anyone, it can be the figure can be you, but it's kind of just in my story, you know, clothed in my story. But it's, yeah, I mean, I wanted it to have the sense of turning the scales upside down, that you don't have the blue sky, you have the orange sky. You're literally falling with your own personal hell, and that is the sky, because the sky is coming down on you, and you're just falling and falling and falling. But in the end, you'll find this beautiful rebirth. You'll find your serenity. You'll find your peace with everything. And that's why there's the blue in the bottom, because I feel like that's the message that I want to give everyone. It's like, even though this is a very traumatic and dark album, and the subject matter is very traumatic and dark, but still, what I want to give everyone in the end of the day is just the peace of mind that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And that's what I want everyone to realize when they've listened to the whole record, that, you know, the person who's screaming that they want to go, they want to, you know, they don't want to be here anymore, he's still fucking here. And that's it.
Yeah, and I think the entire album from start to finish beautifully encapsulates, you know, that entire concept and that entire mindset. And the album is just absolutely amazing. So congratulations to you guys again on the release. It must mean a lot, you know, that it's going to reach so many people. Switching gears a little bit, with everything finally opening up again, and people craving live music more now than they ever have, having gone without it for so long. This summer must have been an absolutely great time to get back out there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and you guys were insanely busy with a lot of festivals this year, including your very first time at Wacken. Having played in front of around 10,000 people, the energy must have been absolutely insane and incredibly validating, which is honestly really well deserved. What was it like to finally experience that?
Oh my God, it's honestly, this whole summer and this whole year of touring and playing shows has been just crazy, because I feel like, you know, you see everyone who appreciate the situation more than they've ever appreciated it before, because
Yeah,
I feel like so many people, myself included, we never thought that live music would be one of the things that we could lose. But now that we've realized how fragile it can be, everyone just, you know, it's like, I haven't seen a single case of any bullshit in the crowds. You know, everyone's just having a good time.
yeah,
No
for
one's
sure.
getting super drunk and fucking around or anything. It's like everyone just loves to be there, spreading love, you know, singing their hearts out, enjoying the shows. And one thing that's actually a byproduct of all of that, I feel like I've seen less cell phones than I have in a
Yeah,
long time during
absolutely,
shows,
man.
which is unfucking believable. And yeah, I mean, Wacken was definitely one of the biggest ones. It's, you know, because it's one of those things that obviously we have a lot of of goals, and we have a lot of bucket list items that we have because we plan to do this for a long time. But Wacken is probably like the oldest and the most consistent one that metal musicians have, and we are no strangers to that either, because everyone, since we've been 10 years old, we've been like, one day we're playing there.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was such a success was just unbelievable. And we got so many people there watching us, which was mind-blowing, because we played in the daytime, it was our debut there and everything, but everyone just loved it. Everyone got into it, and the atmosphere was just, it was like none other.
That's awesome, man. I'm really glad you guys got to enjoy that. So coming up this fall, you have your most comprehensive domestic tour to date with 11 shows all over Finland, including dates in Kuopio, Helsinki, Turku, Kouvola, Lahti, Jyväskylä, Oulu, and Joensuu. I apologize if those were wrong.
Dude, you're nailing that. You're nailing it. Hell yeah.
So coming off of the European tour, the open air festivals, Finland is going to be in for a great freaking tour. Which shows are you most looking forward to performing during this run?
Oh my God. Well, I mean, number one, I have to always say, of course, the show in Jyväskylä, because that's my hometown.
Of course, man.
It's always one of those shows where we're the most scared, but we're the most excited, because, the whole hometown show syndrome. It's always like, oh my God, there's the people who have seen us the first time we were here, and now they're seeing us.
Yeah.
So we got to put on our A game. But it's gonna be a special night for sure. But I'm also really looking forward to doing the second Helsinki show, because it's gonna be the first all ages show that we've done in Helsinki for so many years. Because unfortunately, this country is just running out of venues, and nowadays the trend is that every place is almost for over 18-year-olds, which is a bummer, because if I didn't have those shows when I was a kid, I'd probably not be here anymore. So the fact that we're going to be able to do that is really special. But in the end of the day, I feel like every single show is going to be magic, because, we're bringing in a whole new show, a whole new set list, and we're just so hungry to get there. And I'm sure all of the crowd is going to be so hungry to see it.
No, that's awesome, man. Well, so my last question, do you have any plans for maybe some shows in the US in 2023?
Dude, 100%. I mean, I was just talking about this a few interviews ago, that it's been 5 years since the last time we've been to the States.
Yeah.
So yes, it's about time. And I'm sure next year is going to be the year, because it's just been the craziness, the writing and everything that just has prevented us from coming. So next year, I'm sure we're going to find the proper tour package, and we're going to be there.
That's awesome, man. Samy from Lost Society, it's been truly a great, absolute awesome chat. Thank you so much again for your taking the time today. I really appreciate it. And for those listening that have not heard the record yet, please be sure to go stream the heck out of If the Sky Came Down, available worldwide on all streaming platforms. Samy, thank you so much again for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Dude, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this.
Take care, man.